Don't worry, this isn't the fly we're going to do. The title of this video is, after all, an introduction to married wings. The kernel shown here is quite an advanced example. A fly I tied several years ago. It has a huge wing that's made up completely of single strands. And the hard part about this is not marrying the wing. It's mounting the wing after it's married. In order to do that successfully, it's necessary to build a strong wing when you're marrying it. And that'll be the focus of the video here today. This is the Cassard from Mary Orvis Marbury's favorite flies in their histories. It's the fly that the Bergman version that we'll be doing today is based on. I'll do the Mary Orvis Marbury one in another video. By the 30s, the Cassard looked like this. This is the version from Ray Bergman's Trout. The order of the materials in the recipe in Trout differs from the order of materials in the picture of the Cassard in Trout. So I've just used Mary Orvis Marbury's order of materials for the tail and wing. She knew Cassard, and I'm quite sure it's accurate. That said, the order of materials in a wing is up to the discretion of the tyer. It's one bit of artistic license that a tyer has when tying the fancy flies, and it's something important to remember. Ordering materials in a certain way in a married wing can very much increase the strength of the wing and make up for deficiencies with some of the weaker materials and shorter materials as far as that goes. This doesn't apply with the Cassard, but keep it in the back of your mind. When you create a married wing, you're in effect creating a new section of feather made up of slips from different feathers. The length of every slip has got to be at least 1.5 times the length of the hook. If it's longer than that, that's fine, but if it's shorter than that, it can be a problem. There's a hard and fast rule concerning marrying wings, and if you get nothing else from this video, you need to learn this rule. And the rule's very simple. Lefts marry to lefts only. Rights marry to rights only. Lefts will never marry to rights, and rights will never marry to lefts. When I talk about lefts, I'm talking about a slip, a section of a feather that you've cut out from the left side of the stem. A right would be a section cut out from the right side of the stem, and this is with the feather viewed from the top, with the stem down. We are looking at all these feathers here from the top with the stem down. If we were looking at these from the bottom, the stem would have a discernible split in it. And that's an easy way to tell the top from the bottom. But it'll be fairly apparent anyway. As you can see, the yellow feather in this picture has already had a slip cut from the left side of it. A left slip in that case. That slip will only marry to left slips cut from other feathers. There's one other thing you need to take into consideration when marrying wings, and that is whether the side of the feather you're dealing with has a simple or a compound curve. Generally speaking, quill feathers, mallard quills, duck quills, goose quills have compound curves across their face. In other words, the edges of the feathers curve back up again. Right now we're looking at a turkey feather, and the right side has what I'll call a simple curve. not a compound curve or a reverse curve, and it just curves in one direction. It basically curves down and stops, and it'll look like this from the edge. Only the right side of this turkey feather has the simple curve. The other side, the left side of it, has a compound curve. Here's a turkey feather where the left side has a lot of reverse curve, and it's even more obvious if you look at it from the edge. Feathers with a lot of reverse curve are very usable, but they marry best to other feathers with a reverse curve. This is a pair of wood duck feathers I'm going to use to make the Bergman Cassard. Notice that there's not any reverse curve or compound curve in these feathers. So in order to match it up with the goose that I want to use, I need to use goose secondaries. Goose secondaries just have a simple curve. Whereas if I use goose primaries or quills, they have a lot of reverse curve. You might be able to marry them, but they would never stay married. These are left duck quills that I'm going to cut slips from and marry a wing for a fly called the Babcock, which consists of two yellow slips and a black slip, the black slip forming a stripe in the middle of the wing. This is the same wing as the Parmigiani Bell and the Colonel Fuller, just different colors. You notice the tips on these feathers curl up. They have a compound curve. And the vast majority of wet flies use quills, use feathers that have a compound curve. There are a couple of exceptions, specifically in the Ray Bergman book. The Cassard is one, and the Denison is another. These are flies that have wood duck in the wing, so it's difficult to use quill feathers with the wood duck. Okay, this is going to form the far wing, and I knew right away when I married the first yellow slip, I knew it was too long, and I've just pulled it to length. That one should work. I'll set it aside. Now, these are actually rights, even though the long strands are on the left. I'm working on these from the backs of the feathers. It's just easier for me to cut. Take a look, and you can see the split stem on the black feather in particular. These rights will make up the near wing. Under normal circumstances, I don't cut the strips and lay them down like this. This method would probably be the best to start with if you're new to these. Normally, I'll hold the feather in my hand and cut the slip from it while I'm holding another slip. I'll show that method in the second set of wings I marry. And here's the near wing for the Babcock completed. And now we'll start on the Cassard. All right, I'm going to start with left goose secondaries, and I'm going to marry just the what'll make up the top section of the near wing. And these are goose secondaries, so they curve the opposite direction of the quill slips we used in the first example. So on these, the left strips will make up the near wing, the right, the far wing. Basically here I'm just marrying insect green to red, and then the very top section on the wing is yellow. I've got a section that's a little too wide. The red section's a little too wide. I'm stripping out just one strand, and I would advise just stripping out a strand at a time, 2 at the most. It makes a big difference. When you're only working with 3 or 4 strands, a single strand makes up 1/3 of the slip. Adding the yellow slip here. And as far as the marrying goes, it's just a question of playing around with them and doing a lot of stroking, and you'll get them to go together. They want to go together. It's not a problem. Okay, I am going to use the right side of this, and so I'm flipping it over now, so I'm working from the back. It's just the way I prefer to do it. I'm trying to get 3 or 4 strands at a time here. 3 is what I want. I can always strip out a strand. You notice how I'll just keep this in my left hand, bring out the next feather. It's a little different than the way I did the Babcock slips. This way I'm not putting any of the slips down. It was kind of tough to grab off the deck. What I always try to do is even up the tips, get them the way I want them. It's not always perfect, but you can always manipulate them later. Right now, here, I'm cutting off a single long goose strand. It's not good practice to cut the ends of goose. And if it's anything beyond one strand, it will make your fly look very fake and artificial. So, but I give myself one strand. So there are the goose secondaries for the far wing, and now we'll put the wings together with the wood duck. This is a left barred wood duck feather, and I just want to make sure that it's not too wide. I want it maybe 3/4, half to 3/4 the width of the gap of the hook. And I'm just going to take our lefts that we married of goose secondaries, put them together. You want to make sure that the wood duck is on the bottom here when you put them together. It's an easy mistake to make. I've never done that. And here are the rights for the far wing. The wood duck's fairly fragile, so just very gently move these together. If things aren't going smoothly, don't worry. Things never go smoothly. You've got to remain very calm, take lots of breaks. Meditation can help. Study the art of Zen. And of course, I got the topping on this a little bit long. I just pulled it to length. And there it is compared to the gap of the hook. And here's the pair put together. The far wing was a little too wide, so I stripped some wood duck off. And now we're ready to mount the wing on the fly. I've gotten the palmered hackle out of the way as much as possible. This is a very difficult wing to mount. And I'm going to try to do this just right on top of the hook, straight up and down, not straddling as much as I normally would. The wood duck is very prone to collapsing. And here I'm coming slowly down the face of the wing, and I feel as if I'm pushing the butts into the coils of thread. as I do this. Now I'm straightening everything up, and took a peek, and I think we're looking good. I've put some fairly heavy wraps on, and let's have a look. Looking very, very good. It's dead on. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now I've cut the butts, and I'm using some very firm wraps up the head. I'm going to need quite a bit of coverage out of the whip finish, so I'll probably wind up doing 2 of them. There's number 1, and I've still got that cliff area there up near the head, up near the eye. So I'll do another one. And hold the thread under tension and slice it off with your blade of your scissors. And we'll glue it up and see how it looks. Turned out fairly well. The wing is very straight. I'll be doing the full fly, all the stages, on another video that'll be linked in the description. And I'll also do the Mary Orvis Marbury version of the Cassard, which is a fun fly to do and a little bit easier.